expired marriage certificate. I fell in love with my brother who was not related to me by blood. I tried every means to possess him. My brother was indifferent to this and coldly turned the Buddhist beads in his hand. Until I brought my fake boyfriend home for dinner. My fake boyfriend asked curiously, "Why does your brother always wear Buddhist beads? What desire does he want to quit?" My brother remained silent. But that night he pushed me against the wall, and his voice was hoarse. "Mia kin. You are not obedient." My parents urged me to get married. So I took my fake boyfriend home to deal with it. Chunding has a good family background, and is a good match for my family. My parents should be satisfied. However, the moment I opened the door, I saw Liam Ren sitting in the middle of the sofa. His high-end suit made him look slim and beautiful. Leaning on the sofa, with a string of ebony and agarwood Buddhist beads on his wrist. This body that made me toss and turn countless times in my dreams appeared in front of me again. I couldn't help but clench the bag strap on my chest. "Brother, didn't you go on a business trip abroad?" These two words are so familiar. But even when they are entangled between my lips and teeth, they still make my heart tremble. I really didn't expect Liam Ren to be here. Since my confession failed 6 years ago, our relationship has been like a cup of boiled water that can neither freeze nor boil. Not close, nor far away. He no longer cares about me, supports me, or hugs me like before, and always has a cold face. I went abroad to study, but he didn't send me off. I went home, and he worked overtime. Even when I quietly got into his bed at night, he just fiddled with the Buddhist beads coldly. Indifferent. I thought he would avoid me this time too. But, of course I'll be here. Liam Ren's face was as cold as always. He turned the Buddhist beads on his wrist and said softly, "This is the first time you bring your boyfriend home. And as your brother, I have to check for you. So that's how it is." My brother probably couldn't stand my dirty thoughts towards him and couldn't wait to send me out. In this case, I will satisfy him. 2 At the dinner table. Chunding and my parents were talking and laughing. The atmosphere was harmonious, except for one person. Liam Ren didn't say a word the whole time, and his knuckles holding the chopsticks turned slightly white. "Mia kin, what are you always looking at your brother for? Pick up some food for Chunding." Mom smiled gently and ordered. I subconsciously retracted my gaze, stood up, and picked up a big shrimp for Chunding. "Thank you, baby." Chunding showed me 8 teeth and called me in a deliberately intimate way. I got goosebumps all over my body and secretly pinched his thigh under the table. Chunding cried softly. In the eyes of my family, it was just a young couple flirting. Look at how good the relationship between Chunding and our Mia kin is. "Do you have any plans for when they will get married?" I perfunctorily said. Soon. Soon." There was a sudden cracking sound beside me. Liam Ren's hand holding the chopsticks was too strong and broke accidentally. Chunding actively stood up to show. "I'll go get a new pair for our brother." I pressed him down. "I'll go." I was eager to escape from my seat, because I felt that Liam Ren was staring at me beside me. His eyes were obscure and gloomy. Even if he didn't look directly at me, he almost drowned me. Is it an illusion? Just at that moment, I actually felt that he was jealous. But, how is it possible? 3 Liam Ren is my brother without blood relationship. He was originally the grandson of my grandfather's old comrade in arms, and the two families have been friends for generations. Unexpectedly, when Liam Ren was 10 years old, both his parents had a car accident. Grandpa decided to adopt Liam Ren and treated him as his own son. That year, I was 6 years old. "Mia kin, this is my brother. And we are a family from now on." My parents told me so. I looked up at the boy who was so quiet and almost depressed in front of me, and shouted crisply, "Brother." The 2 words that flowed out of my lips and teeth to turn and our identities. My parents were busy with the affairs of the kin group all year round and rarely spent time at home. Most of the time, Liam Ren and I accompanied each other. He was always very quiet. Like a misty and empty ink painting. But later, he would look at me and chuckle. And quietly clean up all the mess I left behind. When did I start to have different thoughts? When I was about 18 years old. I found a marriage certificate among the relics left by my grandfather. It turned out that my grandfather and the grandfather of the Wren family had a baby marriage after experiencing life and death in the war. Unexpectedly, both parties gave birth to boys. This marriage was passed on to the next generation. That is, Liam, Wren and I. I suddenly realized, if Wren's parents hadn't died in a car accident, my brother and I should have been husband and wife. This cognition was strange and new. I heard my heartbeat quicken, as if something had cleared the clouds and emerged from the long-buried shadows. I want to love my brother in another way. I am not willing to stop at greetings, care, and hugs between siblings. I want to kiss my brother's lips, touch his waist, or even go deeper, even if this is not allowed. On the day I finished the college entrance examination, my brother took a special leave to come back to celebrate. He asked me what gift I wanted. I asked, anything is fine? As long as I can give it. I nodded. Of course you can give it. And only you can give it. I tiptoed and kissed his lips. The fresh breath filled my mouth, warm and trembling. For a moment, I felt that my brother responded to me. But soon, he broke free, gasping for air. Mia Kin. Are you crazy? It has been many years since I heard my brother call me by my full name. If I could smile and pretend to be a prank at this moment, perhaps we can go back to the past and live in peace. But I didn't. Once the flame in my heart is ignited, how can it be easily extinguished? I don't know where I got the courage. I looked straight into his eyes. Yes, I am crazy. But this is the only gift I want. Is it not okay? Brother? I pronounced the last word, brother, very strongly. A name that I rely on very much. But also a name that makes me hate it. Liam Wren looked back at me, his eyes as deep as the sea, and then condensed into boiling ice. He left without saying anything else. But the next morning, when the family sat at the dinner table, my parents started talking about the same old things again. Liam, my parents are old, and we want to gradually hand over the affairs of the group to you. Mia Kin is still young, and she is not cut out for business. You will graduate from college soon, and you can return to the group to work. It's just that our huge kin group, if handed over to someone with a different surname, will inevitably cause gossip. Why don't you change your surname to Kin? This is not the first time that my parents have made this suggestion to him. In the past, my brother did not nod. But this time, he was silent for a long time, but responded. Okay. From now on, Liam Wren becomes Liam Kin. The same surname reminds us all the time of this insurmountable brother-sister relationship. This is the cruelest rejection my brother has ever given me. For your brother seems to have something against me. After dinner, Chun Ding said to me in the room, it rained too hard tonight. So my parents prepared a room for him alone and let him stay at my house. We played several rounds of games in a duo and chatted by the bed. Don't pay attention to my brother. He's always like this. He's cold to everything related to me. I said. Chun Ding nodded. I see he's always wearing a string of Buddhist beads on his hand. Your brother has the desire to quit. I laughed. What desire can he have? He's like an iceberg. Without desire or demand. No. 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 Chun Ding showed the attitude of a veteran. The more you restrain something, the more you want it. You see him constantly turning the Buddhist beads to calm himself down. His heart must be on fire. Really? I lowered my eyes in thought. But suddenly I felt a cold light behind me. I turned around, and Liam Wren stood at the door without knowing when, holding a set of toiletries with an expressionless face. My mother asked me to bring it here, he said to Chun Ding. But his eyes were looking at me. I took it for Chun Ding, tilted my head and smiled at Liam Wren. Thank you, brother. He frowned slightly. It's so late. Why don't you go back to your room? As a young couple, we always want to stay together for a while. I curled the corners of my lips and deliberately took Chunding's hand. I'm sorry to bother you to come here. If there's nothing else, just leave now. Liam Ren didn't move. His deep eyes fell heavily on the fingers that Chunding and I were holding tightly together. And my heart stopped suddenly. Finally, Chunding spoke. Mia Kin. Don't worry about me. Go upstairs and rest. 5 Liam Ren sent me back to the room on the second floor. It was very strange. When he faced me, even his hair was cold. But when he followed me closely, I still felt at ease. For 6 years, I spent most of my time abroad and rarely contacted him. But he was always at the top of my WeChat. With the note, Liam Ren. I never wanted to admit that he had changed his last name to Kin. It seemed that insisting on this would reduce my guilt for falling in love with my brother. The door opened and I walked in. But Liam Ren did not leave. He stared at the striking red mark on my neck, with anger and repression piercing into my bones in his eyes. What's on your neck? I followed his gaze and touched it. My neck was a little itchy when I was playing games just now, and I scratched it red with my hand. What did he think it was? Guess. I deliberately didn't elaborate, enjoying the way he fluctuated with my emotions. What were you doing in his room just now? Liam Ren asked again. His expression was always restrained, but there was a subtle tremor hidden in his voice. I found it funny. Brother, you should have thought of it the moment you rejected me. One day, I will become someone else's girlfriend, someone else's wife, and have children with someone else and grow old together. Why do you ask me what I did with my boyfriend now? I stroked the red mark on my neck and spoke slowly. We do what lovers should do. Why? Brother, you are 28 years old. Haven't you experienced it yet? 6 Liam Ren's originally calm face froze for a moment, and a short period of anxiety flashed across his face. His hand holding the Buddhist beads tight and slightly. And after a few seconds, he whispered, I'm asking you, why are you talking about other things? Oh, it seems that you have never experienced it. I curled my lips and smiled, suddenly stepped forward, and held his face. Brother, I have a lot of experience. Do you want me to teach you? I used this trick 6 years ago. I know that my brother will push me away without hesitation next, so that I can recognize the relationship between us. He is always sober, always restrained, and unwilling to cross the line. I should have gotten used to it a long time ago. But the strange thing is that this time, Liam Ren did not dodge immediately. The hot breath fell on my ear. We were so close. So close that I could see the lines on his brow bone and the corners of his eyes full of fatigue. Brother. I called him softly. His hoarse voice rubbed my ears. Even my long dormant desire was aroused again. Were you jealous just now? After the words fell, the breath that had been lingering in my ears suddenly stagnated, as if he had regained his sanity. Liam Ren distanced himself from me, and his voice returned to a light and cold tone. Mia Kin, I am your brother. It is natural and normal for a brother to discipline his sister. You are an unmarried girl, staying in a man's room late at night. If it gets out, people will say that our family is not strict. As your brother, I asked you to be more careful. What does jealousy have to do with it? This solemn expression, this distant distance, these righteous words, everything was within my expectations. My brother might be in a trance or intoxicated for a while, but at the critical moment, he can always perfectly retreat to a safe distance. He refused to leave me any delusions. I suddenly felt bored, leaned back, and fell on the bed in self-abandonment. Yes. You are right. You are the most upright and honest brother in the world. Liam Ren looked strange. Are you mocking me? I dare not. I raised the corner of my lips sarcastically. It's just that. My upright and good brother. You stayed in my room late at night. Aren't you afraid that others will say that the family tradition is not strict? I am your brother. He emphasized again. You are not my real brother. I exposed him mercilessly. The one who did those things with me as lovers should have been you. We were engaged as children. Mia kin. Liam Ren's pupils suddenly dilated. And he was no longer calm and self-controlled as before. The veins on the back of his pale hand bulged and trembled slightly. And I continued to add fuel to the fire. So, brother, what are you still doing here? Do you plan to continue educating me? Or do you want to sleep with your sister? This is almost an order to leave. My brother is a ruler that is fair and upright. And I want to break him. If he wants to keep himself clean, he should stay away from me. Boom. The rain outside the window is getting heavier, accompanied by thunder. The dazzling lightning illuminates Liam Ren's profile, as if tearing him in half. One half is dormant in the shadows, struggling to break free from the shackles. The other half is wandering in the light, maintaining its shaky sanity. For a moment, I felt as if my brother was going to rush up and hug me. But he didn't say anything in the end. At the critical point of silence about to explode, he turned and left. Liam Ren left. But I didn't sleep well. In my dream, I returned to the age of 18. I found the old marriage certificate among my grandfather's relics. With a strange secret joy, I held it and found Liam Ren. Brother. Look, we were supposed to be husband and wife. I look forward to seeing surprise and joy on Liam Ren's face. Or touching my head and giving me a doting hug. But he just raised his gold-rimmed glasses lightly. Mia kin. We are brother and sister. The agreement of the older generation, which was not mentioned before, is no longer valid now. He took away the marriage certificate and threw it into some corner. It seemed that this matter was not worth mentioning. So sad. I held my heart tightly in my dream. I was so sad that I woke up just like that. The rain was still falling, knocking on the windows. I felt dry and got up to go to the kitchen to get some water. When I passed by Liam Ren's room, I found a faint light in the crack of the door. He was still awake. I approached in a daze and saw Liam Ren holding a Buddhist rosary, sitting in front of the incense burner, and burning incense devoutly. It was strange. He usually lit incense in the early morning. Why did he change to late at night this time? Was it because of me? This thought only appeared for a moment, and I denied it. I can't imagine Liam Ren being deeply in love. He is like a traveler walking calmly on the coast, occasionally lowering his eyes and casually looking at the men and women floating in the sea of desire. Watching the smoke fall. Watching the ups and downs of the world. How could such a person be like me? Obsessed with a deformed love? 6 years of avoidance, restraint, and unrequited pursuit have not been able to extinguish my evil thoughts about my brother. But it made me learn to face the reality. We are siblings. There is no other relationship. I think I should let it go. I didn't fall asleep until dawn, and it was noon when I woke up. Others had their own things and left. Only 2 text messages were left on my phone. One was from Chun Ding, mission accomplished. Remember to transfer my big red envelope. One was from Liam Ren, don't forget. Wake up and report to the group. I was refreshed. Then I remembered that my parents had arranged a job for me during dinner last night. Mia kin. Since you are back from studying abroad, you should go back to work in the group. Let your brother arrange a grassroots position for you first, so that you can adapt to the situation. I nodded and said okay, at that time. But I didn't expect that Liam Ren would arrange it so quickly. I quickly packed my things, and went straight to the group. Fortunately, the entry procedures went smoothly, and my identity was kept secret. No one in the group knew that I came in through the back door. Despite this, my last name still attracted the attention of some people. Mia kin. Your kin. Is it not the kin from the kin group? The girl in the same group whispered to test. I just smiled. How could it be? The other party immediately breathed a sigh of relief. I said it. You are so lively. Completely different from the iceberg of President Kin. How could it be possible that you are a family? It took me a while to realize that the President Kin she was talking about was Liam Ren. In the eyes of others, he should be called Liam Kin. I was the only one who was still stubbornly insisting. We chatted casually. And suddenly, the surroundings fell into an eerie silence. Someone behind me greeted cautiously. Mr. Kin. I turned around and saw that it was Liam Ren. His eyes swept around calmly, without staying on me for a second, and simply walked over neatly, until I followed everyone and called, Mr. Kin. Polite, respectful and distant. Liam Ren suddenly stopped. Slowly, he turned his eyes to me. His eyes were deep and quiet, as if he was holding something down, but that accumulated power gave me a bad premonition. Are you new here today? Liam Ren asked. He pretended very well, acting as if he didn't know me at all. I nodded in cooperation. Yes. Come to my office. A voice of taking a breath came from behind. The girl in the same group comforted me in a low voice. Don't be afraid. Although Mr. Kin looks gold, he treats his subordinates well. And he is a decent person. He will not take advantage of you. I smiled. I know. Compared to me being afraid of him, Liam Ren is probably more afraid of me. Afraid that I will not let go of my dirty thoughts about him. I followed Liam Ren into the office. A light scent of sandalwood floated in the room, which was his unique scent, reminding me that this is his territory. This feeling made me uncomfortable. So I took the initiative, and said, Didn't you agree to let me conceal my identity for a while? Why did you let me come to your office alone? Mia Kin. Liam Ren seemed not to hear it. Just sat in the office chair without any expression. Looked at me and asked, What did you call me outside just now? I said as a matter of course, Boss Kin. Everyone calls me that. Is there a problem? Liam Ren was silent for a moment, and there was a strange stubbornness in his low voice. Others can. But you don't need to. Why? I asked sincerely. It's not good to be different. Haven't you always wanted to sever ties with me? When did I want to sever ties with you? Liam Ren's face darkened instantly. You are my sister. There is no need to sever this relationship. We will always be a family. If you have any unhappiness or dissatisfaction in work or life, I will help you solve it. I looked at him and smiled slowly. Brother, why are you pretending to be confused here with me? You and I both know very well what you really want to sever. But don't worry. I have decided to let you go. So from now on, I will be your sister at home and your subordinate at the company. I will do what others do. There is nothing special and I will not cause you any more trouble. Are you satisfied with this? Mr. Kin? I thought that Liam Ren would be pardoned and then breathe a sigh of relief after hearing these words. But no. He stood up and walked towards me step by step. He walked very slowly and laboriously in just a few steps, as if he wanted to confirm something with me. There was a deep vortex hidden in those gloomy eyes, as if he wanted to drag me into his life again. And I couldn't escape. I looked up, and my brother's tall body gradually enveloped me. I couldn't breathe. The fortress that was rebuilt with great difficulty was once again shaky. Just then, Liam Ren's phone rang. It was my mother's call. The stalemate was instantly broken. I took the opportunity to retreat and escape from his restraint. Answer the phone. Don't keep your mother waiting for too long. Liam Ren calmed down and pressed the answer button. My mother's excited voice came out. Liam, I arranged a blind date for you. The daughter of the Xiao group. Looks, education, family background. There is nothing to pick. Marrying with the Xiao group. There will be no worries in the future. You see, your sister has a boyfriend. You should also consider your lifelong event. Liam Ren listened to her patiently and replied, Let me think about it. He hung up the phone, but looked straight at me. Mia Kin, what do you think? I don't know if it was an illusion, but I actually read a hint of expectation in his eyes. But why should I satisfy him? It's up to you. I tried to squeeze out a sweet and innocent smile and said with a smile, no matter who my brother chooses as his sister-in-law, I, as his sister, will support him. Liam Ren's face suddenly became extremely gray. He lowered his eyes slightly and sighed deeply. Okay. 10 Liam Ren agreed to this blind date. Before, my mother had introduced him to several daughters of rich families. But they were all rejected. When she learned that he actually agreed this time, her mother smiled from ear to ear. The two families quickly decided to meet next week. On the day we learned the news, our group had a dinner. I, who never drank much, poured myself one glass after another. The team leader was very happy and praised me for my good judgment. Then I was seen drunk and passed out. Unconscious. When I woke up again, I was actually lying in a man's arms. A familiar sandalwood scent lingered around my nose. It was my brother's scent. Am I still dreaming? Only in the illusory dream would my brother hold me so gently. My brother, who was usually as cold as an iceberg, was so warm. His breath was soft. His fine forehead hair half covered his eyebrows, and his eyelashes trembled slightly. My sleeping brother was no longer so unattainable. As if I could touch his fragility and softness as soon as I stretched out my hand. I couldn't help but raise my hand. But with just a slight movement, Liam Ren opened his eyes and grabbed my arm. Ah, it hurts. The pain woke me up instantly. This was not a dream. I jumped out of bed in shock and asked him, "Why is it you?" Liam Ren was annoyed. Otherwise, who do you want to be? I looked at the surrounding scene and recognized that this was a large flat purchased by Liam Ren himself, right next to the group, which was convenient for him to go to and from get off work. If I hadn't picked you up, you wouldn't have known which wild man picked you up. He was so handsome, and his posture was so well proportioned. Liam Ren sat up, his shirt half loose, revealing his beautiful collarbone. I was stunned for a while, and it took me a long time to answer. You picked me up? Then everyone in our group knows about your relationship with me, right? Liam Ren said inferently. If they know, they know. Otherwise they will think that you have no one behind you, and anyone dares to force you to drink. After that, he lowered his eyes and added, in the future, you are not allowed to drink more than half a glass. My brother is sometimes calm and peaceful, and sometimes so powerful. But why? He obviously doesn't love me and doesn't care about me. So why should he restrict me? It's not your turn. I subconsciously threw out the sentence. Liam Ren's face suddenly changed. Dark clouds gathered between his eyebrows, and he grabbed my wrist. Say it again? I glared at him. I can drink as much as I want. What does it have to do with you? If you want to be cold, just be cold. Don't think about it every day. Do you think I will still cherish your charity like before? I have a boyfriend now. I should hug him to sleep when I am drunk. Liam Ren sneered. Your boyfriend? Do you think he is a good guy? He took out his mobile phone and swiped out a few photos. Take a good look at who your boyfriend is. I looked down. In the photo, Chunding hugged a gentle and sweet girl, his eyes full of affection. In the next photo, the two kissed each other. It seemed that there were bubbles of happiness around. Oh my god. Chunding was in a relationship and didn't tell me? I didn't feel sad at all. After all, I agreed with Chunding at the beginning that we would pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend to deal with parents, and we could terminate the cooperation at any time. But how did Liam Ren have these photos? You check him? I narrowed my eyes and looked at Liam Ren. His face was as cold as ice, with an attitude of superiority. I told you that I will check your boyfriend for you. Check your ass. I blurted out, and felt a surge of anger. Why are you harassing him? How my boyfriend and I live is my business. Who asked you to take the initiative to control my life? Can you get out of here? Why do you always mess up my mood when I give up? Control me, but treat me coldly. Tempt me, but don't want me. For so many years, I have been up and down in my love for my brother. He handed me a straw when I was drowning, and pushed me into the sea when I was about to get ashore. I've had enough. I pushed Liam Wren away, and ran out. I didn't run a few steps before I was grabbed by the back of my neck and pulled into his arms. I wanted to break free, but he held me tightly with greater strength. The hot body temperature, and the lights and a wild fragrance mixed together, shackled me tightly. Mia kin. Liam Wren's warm breath fell on the back of my neck, with an inappropriate tenderness. Can you be more obedient? No. I gritted my teeth. He sighed softly. Do you have to be with Chunding? If it's not him, it will be someone else. Anyway, it won't be you. I pried his hand off my waist with force, and the string of the Buddhist beads broke and rolled all over the floor. This string of Buddhist beads is Liam Wren's most cherished ebony agar wood, which he wears on his wrist all year round. Now it's scattered, but he doesn't show any anger at all. And he doesn't even look down. It's like a complete collapse of reason. It's like a complete fall of morality. Liam Wren just hugged me tightly, like a piece of paper that struggled hard in a whirlpool but was torn apart in the end. Finally gave up resistance, and let the storm sweep over. He leaned down and kissed me hard on the lips. After 6 years, I tasted my brother's lips again. The space suddenly became quiet, different from the stiffness and helplessness 6 years ago. This time, his lips were soft, warm, and aggressive, as if he wanted to skin me, tear my bones, and eat me into his stomach. I once wanted to drag my brother to hell with me, but when this moment really approached, I would fall into deep panic and fear. Do you know what you are doing? I asked in his arms. Liam Wren's voice was hoarse. I know. Mia kin. I tried. Didn't you say that we are a pure brother-sister relationship? Is this your purity? He put his palm on my face, his voice trembling. I tried to be patient, tried to restrain myself, tried to convince myself that you would eventually marry someone else. But I still can't do it. When I think about you giving up me and running into someone else's arms, I get jealous and crazy. The brother who crossed the border had a sexy and broken despair. His shirt was wrinkled in the pulling, and his eyes were drooping, no longer cold and arrogant as before. 18 years ago, I was adopted into the kin family. From then on, your family also became mine. Grandpa and my parents were very good to me and gave me a rich and prosperous life. But I still can't forget the company my biological parents gave me. Forgetting them is like a betrayal. I am like an outsider, carefully holding everything that does not belong to me. I am afraid that I can't bear the kin family's efforts and kindness to me. Only by making 12 points of effort and constantly becoming mature and excellent can I be worthy of this cultivation. I often worry that I have taken away the love that originally belonged to you, and you will hate me. But no. My sister is so pure and kind, sticking to me, and accompanying me. Only with my sister, I don't have to have any burden. But I don't know since when this relationship has deteriorated. In high school, you began to have frequent suitors around you. Whenever I saw those adolescent boys expressing their love for you without scruples, I would be overwhelmed by crazy jealousy. Why? My sister should be mine. How dare they try to take her for themselves? I realized that I was so fond of my own sister. You have such a dark and dirty mind. The kin family treats me so well. But I covet the only daughter of the kin family, my nominal sister. This is absolutely wrong, despicable, and unforgivable. I don't know how to face you. I can only escape with indifference. But you kissed me and took out the marriage certificate of the older generation. At that moment, I could hardly suppress my dirty thoughts about you. But reason told me that I couldn't. The kin family treated me so well. I can't go astray, let alone lead you astray. I put on the Buddhist beads. Every day I burned incense, thinking that this would stop my lust. But it was useless. During the 6 years you were studying abroad, lust dragged me deeper like a whirlpool. And the eye of the storm that was calm and composed and caused all the turmoil was you. Over the years, Restraint has become an instinct of mine. But it's so tiring. Sometimes I feel like I've become a grave. Until you came back. But this time you brought your boyfriend back. And you decided to let me go. You used to be stubborn and refused to change my last name. But now you call me Mr. Kin like everyone else. Are you willing to be with Chun Ding together? Willing to be with others. But not with me. I really don't want to accept this. I can see your pain. But I have to turn a blind eye. If I let you go for 6 years and didn't let you let go, why should I push you away again? I don't want to be trapped in pain anymore. And I don't want to make you suffer anymore. What moral ethics? What brother-sister love? Can't compare to the joy of holding you tight. Liam Ren looked at me with burning eyes. His voice hoarse and serious. I just want to possess my sister. For the first time in my life. My brother said so many words to me. I heard my fragile, swollen heartbeat. As if it was about to break out of the cocoon in my chest. Perhaps at this moment, I should give him an equally solemn response. But I just looked at his watery lips and whispered, "Brother, the Buddhist beads are broken." And next second, my brother's kiss covered me. Let it break. I only want you. 77 Since the day when Liam Ren picked me up drunk. When I went to work again. People around me looked at me differently. Everyone knew that I was Liam Ren's sister. But they didn't know that the siblings in their eyes were almost kissing each other in private. I naturally stopped calling him Boskin, and called him brother. In the secret entanglement. The brother-sister relationship was our shield, and also our stumbling block. We saw each other's cards and understood each other's darkness. And then we still chose to love each other. Even more. If we can't stop it. We just let it go. This struggle between desire and despair. The day when Liam Ren and the daughter of the Xiao family meet is getting closer and closer. Even if the marriage between the two families fails, etiquette is indispensable. Liam Ren had to go. I don't know if it was psychological or physical reasons. But I was not in good spirits those days. Waiting for the day when he went to meet the daughter of the Xiao family. I tested it with the antigen reagent. And it was 2 bars. Positive. I quickly sent a message to the team leader to ask for leave. And attached a picture of the 2 bars. The team leader agreed immediately and told me to rest assured. But I didn't expect that he would report the matter to Liam Ren. So, Liam Ren, who was supposed to be on a blind date, called me repeatedly. As soon as I answered the phone, he asked me, "Are you pregnant?" "What? Positive?" My head was feverish and confused. And I answered, "Yes. I'm pregnant." Liam Ren was silent for a moment. "What are you going to do?" "What else can I do?" I can only accept it calmly. "Have you decided?" This question was inexplicable. And I said, softly. This time. Liam Ren was silent for a longer time. After a long while. He seemed to take a breath with difficulty. "Okay. I understand. I'll take care of it." Then he hung up the phone. I was surprised. What can be done about this? Take some antipyretic essence, sleep a few more times. So I turned over and fell asleep. Sleeping soundly in Liam Ren's big flat. When I woke up again, the fever had subsided. But the world at home had changed. My parents were furious and asked me to go home. The situation was not good. So I asked the housekeeper in advance and got 3 bombshell news. First, Liam Ren refused to marry the Xiao family. Second, Liam Ren wanted to change his surname and return to Ren. Third, Liam Ren confessed my relationship with him, and claimed that I was pregnant with his child and he would be responsible. Thunder exploded in my mind. I realized belatedly that Liam Ren mistook the 2 bars of my impotence for pregnancy. I hurried home. And when I opened the door, I saw Liam Ren's thin body kneeling in front of his parents. "Dad. Mom. I know I have sinned deeply. But I have never forgotten your kindness in raising me. I am willing to transfer all the shares of the group you gave me before to me akin. As for the position of group president, since I changed my surname back to a foreign one, I will resign voluntarily. But no matter what, I am still a member of the Kin family. In another identity. I just took a nap. How did things evolve to this point? Mom and Dad sighed with red eyes. The family's reputation is particularly important. I thought they would be furious. Would stop us. And would kick me or Liam Wren out of the house. But not long after. They calmed down surprisingly. You don't have to force us to agree in this way. You know very well that the group can't do without you now. I was stunned. It's not that Liam Wren can't do without the group. But the group can't do without Liam Wren. I suddenly realized that these 6 years have not been unchanged. Liam Wren and Kin group have long been integrated. It's not that easy to abandon him. This is the confidence of Liam Wren's showdown now. We don't want to lose each other. Nor do we want to lose Mom and Dad. Shock, anger, and disappointment are the instincts of being parents. But they are also businessmen and will weigh the overall situation. Things are not without a solution. I walked forward and knelt in front of my parents with my brother. Mom and Dad. My brother and I are together. But I'm not pregnant. He misunderstood. Liam Wren looked at me in surprise. You're not pregnant? My brother was really irrational when he met me. I whispered, even if she is pregnant, it can't be yours according to the time. Why are you blindly admitting it? Liam Wren was silent and said, I know. Then why do you still admit it? You and Chun Ding have broken up. And I don't want you to go back to him because of this. I can take care of you and the child. My brother who said this was like a wet puppy. He used to be so cold and proud. But now he seems to have no self-esteem. It really makes me feel distressed and guilty. I couldn't help but say, Chun Ding and I were originally pretending to be a couple. If I can't be with my brother, other people are just fooling around with me. I don't know what is flowing in the air. It's unpredictable, tasteless, colorless, but suffocating. Mom and Dad were silent for a long time. And finally sighed. We will pretend we don't know how you deal with it privately. But you have to take care of the Kin family's reputation. Don't forget that you are still siblings who grew up together outside. I was stunned for a long time. And I couldn't believe my ears. The consequences that I was extremely afraid of were revealed because of a mistake. Which made everything suddenly clear. It's okay if I can't admit the relationship to the public. It's okay if I can't tear the Kin family's reputation. As long as Mom and Dad are still by my side. As long as my brother can still hug and kiss me gently. Even if I can't tell anyone. What does it matter? If people want to keep their ties, they have to take the risk of crying. At this moment, I suddenly felt very fortunate that we were not together 6 years ago. This is how we are now. So that we have enough mind to compete with the ethics of this world. Just love each other secretly and wantonly. I am already very satisfied. 12 brother, do you think we will get married one day? I asked Liam Wren one night after a hearty night. He gently hugged my waist. His voice hoarse and gentle. Maybe one day. When Mom and Dad leave. Or the group changes hands. Or we go far away. In the end, there will be that day. I hugged my brother contentedly and said with a smile. It doesn't matter if we don't get married. Anyway, no matter how old we are, I will be with you. Accidents and death may come at any time. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next year. Before that, I just want to hold your hand and walk farther and farther with you. Liam Wren suddenly became quiet. He stood up and took out an exquisites and a walt box from the bottom of the bookcase. When he opened it, there was a marriage certificate inside. It was the marriage certificate left by my grandfather. I was surprised. Didn't you throw away this marriage certificate? How could I bear to do that? Liam Wren smiled and unfolded the marriage certificate. The once rich red wedding color was stained with traces of time, but every word was still clear. Mia Kin and Liam Wren were originally engaged. We wrote our names on the marriage certificate. This old marriage certificate, which had long been outdated and invalid. It came a token of our private marriage. The red paper was old, and would break if we were not careful. My brother carefully picked it up and read softly. The two surnames are united in marriage and the contract is signed in one hall. A good marriage is forever. And the match is the same. Look at the peach blossoms on this day, which are bright and suitable for the family. I predict that you will have a long and prosperous life in the future. I hereby write down the promise of a lifetime. Let the red leaf alliance be recorded in the love genealogy. This is the certificate.